For a couple of weeks, I was out of town dealing with some family business, but I just told everyone I was on vacation. When I got back, a rumor was burning through campus. My family was broke. It got so bad that even my girlfriend, the most popular girl at Northwood University, was about to dump me. Leo, you don't actually think a broke nobody like you deserves the campus queen, do you? I threw open the door to our suite, jumping inside with a huge grin on my face. What's up, losers? Your king has returned. Say that again, Leo. I dare you. Mark shot back. Who the hell are you calling a loser? Kevin chimed in at the same time. There were 4 of us in the suite, and I was the 3rd oldest. I just laughed it off, stepping inside and clapping Mark on the shoulder as I bent down to unzip my suitcase and pull out their gifts. First up was the new Nintendo console that had just dropped. Mark was a die-hard Nintendo fan and had been obsessing over it since it was announced. But with his tight budget and a girlfriend to pay for, he was planning to work all summer just to afford it. His birthday was coming up, so I figured it would be the perfect gift. I could already picture the look of pure joy on his face. But I'd barely gotten the zipper halfway open when he slapped my hand away, his face twisted in disgust. Get off me. Don't even talk to me again. You make me sick. I froze, confused, and looked over at Kevin. What's his problem? Did he get dumped? Kevin, seeing my travel-worn appearance, smirked with a look of pure schadenfreude. All right, Leo, drop the act. We all know, he said. It's all over the campus fizz page. Your family's bankrupt. There's even a picture of your dad on his knees, begging for investment money. I'm surprised you even had the nerve to come back. We all figured your family had skipped the country. He kicked his feet up on his desk, looking me up and down before letting out a short, sharp laugh. Here's a friendly piece of advice, man. Now that you're broke, you should learn to keep your head down. Stop acting like some big shot. It's a good way to get your ass kicked. My face went cold. Who told you my family went bankrupt? Ha! Still trying to keep up the act. Your family's stock has completely tanked. You think we're stupid? Sam, my other roommate, walked over and gently patted my shoulder, handing me his phone. Leo, man, just look at the fizz page. I took the phone and glanced at the screen. The top post was trending with a blazing fire emoji. Shocker, Northwood used #1 rich kid Leo Vance's family goes bankrupt. I clicked on it. The first thing I saw was a photo of my dad on one knee, holding a glass of whiskey up to a white-haired old man sitting in a chair, a fawning smile plastered on his face. Below the picture was a short video clip, only a few seconds long. I pressed play. Well, Vance, I guess this means you're officially broke, huh? Look at your stock, man. TSK, TSK. It's bleeding red. Hey, play your cards right, and maybe we'll throw you a bone. A wave of laughter followed in the background. The video cut off before I could hear my dad's response. So, that was it. This one photo and a snippet of video, and they all just assumed my family was ruined? The man my dad was kneeling to was my grandfather. Last week was his 80th birthday party. My dad, his son-in-law, got down on one knee as a joke, a grand theatrical gesture to liven things up. How did that get twisted into him begging for money? And the voices in the background? Those are my dad's business partners, all there to celebrate my grandpa's birthday. The things they were saying were just jokes, the kind of ribbing that close friends and colleagues do. To even be invited to a private family party meant that not only were they major players, but they were also on excellent terms with our family, both professionally and personally. That's why they felt comfortable enough to joke around about our stock taking a hit. And yeah, our stock did fall, but it was a planned demolition. Vance Industries was undergoing a strategic restructuring. The new corporation, Apex Dynamics, was already in the final stages of its IPO. In a month, tops, Apex Dynamics would emerge, completely transformed, to replace the old Vance Industries and dominate the market with more force than ever before. This was common knowledge in the city's elite business circles. It's why the bankruptcy of Vance Industries barely made a ripple among those who actually mattered. But here, on campus, they thought we were finished. Sam sighed and patted my shoulder again, trying to offer some comfort. Hey, it's okay, man. Life has its ups and downs. Going broke isn't the end of the world. What matters is that you guys are okay. You can always rebuild. Besides, he added, we're about to graduate. With your talent, you'll land a spot at a Fortune 500 company. No problem. You still have a great future ahead of you. Don't sweat it. Mar put his phone down and sneered. Rebuild? Don't make me laugh. Do you have any idea how much debt he's in? People online are saying it's at least 3 billion. A useless waste of space like him will be lucky if he doesn't end up jumping off a bridge. If I were you, he said, looking at me, I'd go find some rich old cougar to service. If you're lucky, maybe she'll pay off a few million for you. Get a job at a Fortune 500, hilarious. Who's going to hire a guy with billions in debt? Sam couldn't take it anymore. He pointed a finger at them, his voice shaking with anger. That's way out of line. Have you forgotten how good Leo's been to you? You know damn well how much he's done for you guys. Forget all the gifts and the meals he's paid for. We've been roommates for over 3 years. If you can't even offer a little support, fine, but kicking him when he's down. Do you have any conscience at all? Mark let out a cynical laugh, crossing his legs and giving Sam a mocking look. Oh, give a rest. We all know what you're doing. You were just sucking up to the rich kid for handouts. Now that he's broke, what's the point of pretending? When his family had money, sure, I'd play along. It made sense, Mark continued. But now that they're broke, why would I waste my time? You think I'm an idiot? And another thing, Kevin piped up, all that stuff you gave us before, those were gifts. Freely given. That means they're ours now, so don't even think about asking for them back. A flicker of realization crossed Mark's face. He nodded vigorously, subtly sliding the AirPods on his desk back into his pocket. He's right. They were birthday presents. You gave them to us. I stared at them, a cold fury rising in my chest. These were the guys I considered my best friends. Then, to my complete surprise, Sam reached into his pocket, pulled out a pen, and held it out to me. Leo, here. This is the pen you gave me. You should take it back, sell it. Every little bit helps, right? It might not be much, but it's something. It was a beautiful fountain pen I'd given him for his birthday last year. Sam loved calligraphy and had incredible handwriting, but he came from a poor family and could never afford a quality pen. I'd bought him a high-end Naginata Togi. He treated that pen like a holy relic, carefully cleaning it after every use and storing it in a special case. Over winter break, he'd sent a handwritten thank you card and a New Year's greeting to me and my parents. And now, he was willing to give it back. A wave of warmth washed over me. At least I hadn't been wrong about one of them. Mark and Kevin looked uncomfortable. Mark shot Sam a venomous look. What are you trying to prove? Huh, he's broke. Why are you still kissing his ass? Ugh, you're so fake, Kevin sneered. Anyone who didn't know better would think you're some kind of saint. You weren't complaining when you were mooching free meals off him. Sam's family was on a tight budget, so he mostly ate cheap vegetable dishes from the dining hall. I'd often buy too much and give him lobster rolls or steaks. But then again, had Mark and Kevin eaten any less? Sam's face flushed a deep red as he stammered. That was just Leo being nice. I let out a cold laugh, not holding back. That lobster we had last month, and the Wagyu steak last week. You two were scarfing it down faster than a couple of hyenas. What? You already forgot. I paused, looking them dead in the eye. Then again, I guess animals don't have very good memories. They never remember who was good to them. Not like people who know what gratitude is. You son of a bitch, you're asking for it. Mark shot up from his chair, kicking my suitcase over. A few shirts spilled out. He stomped on them as he strode toward me, his eyes burning with rage. I just smirked and slapped him clean across the face. Crack. What, did I say something wrong? Search your conscience and ask yourself how I've treated you these past few years. The parties, the dinners. When did I ever let you guys pay for anything? Now you see a rumor that I'm broke and you kick me to the curb. Calling you dogs is an insult to dogs. His eyes were bloodshot. He growled a few words through his teeth and threw a punch. I'm gonna kill you. I sidestepped the clumsy attack and snapped a roundhouse kick into his stomach, sending him sprawling to the floor. All those years of kickboxing weren't just for show. He lay on the ground, clutching his stomach and groaning. I spit in his direction, then turned to Sam. You keep the pen. My family might be down, but we're not so desperate that we're taking back gifts. Since you all think I'm broke, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to see how many more backstabbing snakes there are. I bent down to pick up my suitcase, but just as my hand touched the handle, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out. It was my girlfriend, Chloe. A knot formed in my stomach. Chloe was the unofficial queen of Northwood in the same year as us. I'd fallen for her the moment I saw her during freshman orientation and spent a solid 6 months chasing her before she finally agreed to be my girlfriend. We'd had a great 4 years, but her calling me right now, at this exact moment. What could she possibly want? I swiped to answer. Her voice came through the speaker, cold as ice. Meet me by Donnelly Hall. We need to talk. Staring at the screen, my expression darkened. Some things you don't need spelled out. Her tone said it all. The other guys heard her voice. Kevin's face lit up with malicious glee. You better go. Maybe your girlfriend has a big surprise waiting for you, huh? Leo, go ahead, Sam said gently. I'll pack up your things for you. I gave Sam a small smile and turned to leave the room. The second my back was to them, my face was a mask of cold fury. After I'd left, Kevin finally dared to help Mark to his feet. Mark was pale, his forehead beaded with sweat. As he struggled to stand, he muttered curses under his breath. Damn it, that bastard. I'll get him back for this, I swear. Sam had just righted my suitcase and was picking up the scattered clothes when Mark, still seething, saw the suitcase and kicked it with all his might. Crack! A huge gash tore through the side of the case, and the rest of its contents spilled onto the floor. Clothes, a hat, a power bank, a tablet, an unopened Nintendo console, a new pair of sneakers with the tag still on, and a designer makeup set. Kevin's eyes widened. He hurried over and started looking through the items. Jordans, Estee Lauder, and the new Nintendo. Mark, I thought you said he was broke. How can he afford all this stuff? Mark's face turned beet red. He raised his foot and stomped on the suitcase again, this time shattering the cracked shell into pieces. He's probably just mulesing it for someone else. A broke loser trying to act rich, he yelled as he stomped. Just wait till the debt collectors show up. Let's see how smug he is then. Mark, stop. You're going to break everything. Sam cried, rushing forward to stop him. Mark, his eyes wild, shoved him hard, sending him stumbling to the ground. Get lost. I can't stand people like you. You're just as bad as us, trying to get handouts from him. Stop with the holier-than-thou act. It's not like you ever turned down his free food or gifts. The more he spoke, the angrier he got. He kicked Sam hard in the ribs. Sam grunted and curled into a ball. Seeing him like that seemed to release some of the pressure in Mark's chest, and he kicked him again. You're so noble, such a good person. You don't care about money. He punctuated each word with another kick, until Sam's face was bleeding. Kevin watched without a shred of interest in stopping it. He calmly walked over to the sneakers. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed. He'd seen something. He picked up one of the Jordans and pulled out a small card from inside. Happy graduation, Kevin. Wishing you all the best. Kevin Price. That was his name. He then picked up the game console. Sure enough, there was another card taped to the back, this one wishing Mark a happy graduation. It was the same for the iPad and the makeup set. The iPad had Sam's name on it, and the makeup was for Chloe. Oomph. Rich kids. Even when they're broke, they're not like the rest of us, Kevin sneered. He tore off the card and slipped the sneakers onto his own feet. Gotta admit, these Jordans feel amazing. After a few more kicks, Mark finally clutched his stomach and staggered back to his bed, the rage in his chest finally subsiding as he gasped for breath. His eyes fell on the Nintendo and the iPad lying on the floor, and a greedy glint appeared in his eyes. He got up, grabbed both items, and held them tight. That son of a bitch. Kick me this hard. This console and tablet will have to do as an apology. He muttered to himself, stashed the iPad in his locker, and tore open the Nintendo box to start playing. Outside Donnelly Hall, when I arrived, Chloe was already there. But she wasn't alone. A guy was with her, his arm draped casually around her as they laughed and flirted. Seeing them, my expression turned even colder. I walked right up to them. Chloe, I said, my voice low and hard. You owe me an explanation. The guy next to her shot me a smug look, then leaned in and gave her a quick kiss. As she playfully swatted at him, he pulled her even tighter against his side. After her little show of mock protest, Chloe finally looked at me. The moment her eyes met mine, the flirtatious charm vanished, replaced by sheer annoyance. An explanation. What is there to explain? Are you blind? I dumped you. Derek is my new boyfriend. Now, stay away from me. If you bother me again, Derek won't be so nice about it, she sneered. The guy, Derek, chuckled and dropped his arm from her waist, stepping toward me and extending a hand. Hey, I'm Derek Reed, Chloe's new boyfriend. I ignored him, my eyes locked on Chloe. So, that's it. You heard I was broke, so you're breaking up with me? Well, duh, she shot back. You want me to wait around and be saddled with billions in debt before I even graduate? What if I told you that my family isn't in debt? That even after the bankruptcy, we still have millions left over? What would you do then? Chloe scoffed and walked back to Derek, linking her arm through his and pressing her body against him. Do I really have to spell out for you? Leo, you don't actually think a broke nobody like you deserves the campus queen, do you? When you had money, I was with you because your status matched mine. But now you're just a charity case. Why would I stick around? She said, her voice dripping with disdain. The only one who deserves me now is a rising star like Derek. A proud smile spread across Derek's face as his hand snaked behind her back and gave her a firm squeeze. Chloe let out a little squeal before turning back to me. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. You know Apex Dynamics? The tech group that just won that huge National Innovation Award. They're about to go public. Once they do, they're going to be one of the biggest companies in the country. Derek's family business is one of their partners. The day Apex goes public, his family is going to the moon, she declared. Forget about you being broke. Even when you had money, the gap between you and Derek was massive. Any girl with half a brain would know who to choose. The Reed family. I racked my brain, trying to remember any major company with that name among our closest partners. Nothing came to mind. Derek put on a modest, yet proud, expression. It's just a small operation. About $30 million a year in transactions. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. $30 million a year was indeed small. At that volume, his family's profit would be 3, maybe 4 million tops. That made them a third-tier supplier at best. Listening to him, you'd think he was talking about a $3 billion deal. Look, Derek said, puffing out his chest, since you took care of Chloe for 3 years, I'll offer you a job in my family's company. Our security guard just retired. You can have a spot. Room and board included, $2,500 a month. He paused, a cruel glint in his eye. But you'll be on call 24/7. Whatever I say, you do. No questions asked. You should be thanking him. Chloe added from the side. A useless bum like you, with billions in debt. Derek offering you anything is a godsend. Looking at her then, any feeling I ever had for her just evaporated. I pulled out my phone and tapped the screen a few times. Chloe's phone buzzed. She looked down and saw a notification for a new bank transfer. She frowned at me. What's this? You think this is some kind of severance package for wasting my time for a few years? Severance. I shook my head, a slow smile spreading across my face. No. In the years we were together, we hooked up 27 times. For someone of your caliber, let's call it an even grand procession. That comes to 27,000. Now we're even. Her face instantly turned the color of a plum. Derek's expression was just as dark. I nodded at him and gave him a thumbs up. Don't worry, bro. I tested the merchandise for you. The performance is excellent. With that, I turned my back on the two idiots and headed back to my dorm. I wasn't even halfway back to the dorm before Chloe started spamming me with 60-second voice messages on WhatsApp. I didn't even bother listening. I just blocked her number. A few minutes later, she sent the money back. I wasn't surprised. If she'd kept it, she would have been admitting she was a prostitute. Wouldn't she? After finally landing a whale like Derek, there was no way she'd let him go for a measly 27 grand. When I got back to the suite, the first thing I saw was Sam sitting on his bed, gently dabbing at the blood on his face. I strode over, my voice tight with anger. What happened? Who did this? Sam flinched and then forced a smile. It's nothing. I tripped. That's when I saw it all. My suitcase, now in shattered pieces on the floor. My clothes scattered everywhere. Mark playing the new Nintendo. Kevin wearing my Jordans, and the dusty footprint on Sam's shirt. I knew exactly what had happened. With a cold smile, I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. Yes, I'd like to report crime. Someone intentionally destroyed my personal property and stole several high-value items. The total value is around $3,000 to $3,500. I paused. Actually, they also assaulted someone. I have reason to believe this wasn't just theft. It was robbery. Given the value of the items, campus police arrived quickly. And with them came our academic advisor, Mr. Stevens, and another unwelcome guest, Derek Reed. He wasn't even in our department. What was he doing here? The next second, Kevin rushed forward, his face a mask of distress. Derek, you have to help us. The moment Leo got back, he started going crazy, calling you a bastard and Chloe a slut. We couldn't just stand there, so we argued, and things got physical. It was an accident. Then he accused us of robbing him and called the cops. He's saying we stole his stuff, but these were gifts. He gave them to us. Look. As he spoke, he pulled out the gift cards and handed them to Mr. Stevens and the police officer. I looked at Derek, a strange expression on my face. You got a thing for seconds, don't you? Second-hand girlfriends, second-hand cronies. Does your family run a thrift store? Derek just snorted and looked away. After seeing the cards, the officer was already 60 to 70% convinced. He turned to me with a stern look. Disagreements between students are normal, but you can't waste police resources by filing false reports over a minor squabble. And no matter what the disagreement is, you do not resort to violence. You're all adults at a university. Don't you have any respect for each other? Sam, hearing this, spoke up frantically. He's lying. Leo didn't give them anything. They took the stuff out of his suitcase themselves, and they broke it. When I tried to stop them, they hit me. Sam, I know you and Leo are close, but you can't just make things up to help him, Kevin interrupted smoothly. Mark put on a look of profound disappointment. After 4 years as roommates, I can't believe you'd do this. It was a small argument, and you're trying to send us to jail? Mr. Stevens' voice was sharp. Sam, if you continue with these fabrications, I'll have no choice but to report this to the dean's office. You might not even get your diploma. And you, Leo, he said, turning to me, filing a false police report to get your classmates sent to prison over a petty issue. This is appalling behavior. I will be reporting this to the university administration. You need to learn a serious lesson. Sam was so flustered his face was bright red. He shook his head. We didn't. They're the ones who... I put a hand on his shoulder to stop him, then fixed my gaze on our advisor. What did he offer you to take his side so completely? He didn't even bother to ask questions, just immediately decided we were the liars. The bias was so obvious a blind man could see he'd been bought. A flicker of panic crossed Mr. Stevens' eyes, but he quickly covered it with a stern rebuke. Now you're trying to drag me into this? I see you're rotten to the core. I will absolutely report this to the school. For something like this, you're looking at a major disciplinary action, at the very least. Looking at their smug, triumphant faces, I spoke again, my voice cold and clear. Do you all remember about 3 months ago when there was a thief hitting the dorms? They stole a lot of expensive stuff, but there were no cameras in the hallways, so even after the police were called, they couldn't catch him. In the end, I paid out of my own pocket to install hidden cameras at a few key spots, and one right here in our suite. Then I deliberately flashed some expensive gear to lure the thief in so we could catch him. Mr. Stevens looked a bit awkward, a pang of guilt stirring within him. Of course, he remembered. He'd received a commendation from the university for the thief's capture, a capture I had engineered. And now, for his own career advancement, he was twisting the truth, painting me, the victim, as the aggressor. But a second later, he pushed that guilt aside. Of course I remember. But what does that have to do with anything? That was then, this is now. I was grateful for your help with that. But today you are clearly in the wrong. And your behavior is despicable. I'm doing this for your own good, he said with an air of superiority. A punishment now will teach you a lesson, so you don't cause even bigger trouble after you graduate. Out in the real world, you can't just get a slap on the wrist. You could end up in jail. No, that's not what I mean, I said, shaking my head and pointing toward the doorframe. What I mean is, they took down the cameras in the hallway, but I never bothered to remove the one in our suite. It's still there. As soon as the words left my mouth, their faces changed dramatically. I took out my phone, pulled up the footage from earlier, and handed it to the police officer. Officer, why don't you take a look and see what really happened? The officer watched the video. When he was done, he looked up at Mark and Kevin. They were shaking their heads frantically. No, he was going to give that stuff to us anyway. It was already ours. I couldn't help but laugh. By that logic, since the money in the bank is mine, it's okay for me to go rob the bank. I shook my head. Morons. Oh, and by the way, that suitcase, $1,700. I can provide the receipt if you need it. With concrete evidence, there was nothing more to say. Mark and Kevin were taken away. Mark, in particular, was in deep trouble. Not only had he destroyed my property and stolen my things, but he had also assaulted Sam. He was definitely looking at jail time. After the police left with them, I turned to my advisor. Mr. Stevens, this little matter of you taking sides without any regard for the facts. I'll be reporting that to the administration as well. I hope whatever you were paid was worth the trouble that's coming your way. Mr. Stevens's face was ashen as he and Derek left. You told me this would be a simple walkthrough. Stevens hissed at Derek once they were outside. What am I supposed to do now? This is the year I'm up for the assistant dean position. If he reports this, my rivals will tear me apart. And that job fair on Tuesday, the one you said Apex Dynamics was coming to, is that for real? If that falls through too, all my years of work will have been for nothing. Derek looked uneasy, but he tried to sound confident. Don't worry, Mr. Stevens. The head of HR at Apex is a friend of mine. He already promised me they'd be here on Tuesday. You can relax. A smile broke across Mr. Stevens's face. Oh, that's wonderful. Bringing a company like Apex Dynamics to campus for recruiting is a huge achievement. It'll solve the employment rate issue for our whole department. You can bet that'll look good on my record. Don't you worry, he said, clapping Derek on the back. Once I'm assistant dean, I'll make sure your recommendation for the grad program is a sure thing. The two of them looked at each other and burst into laughter. Sixth day of the career fair. Mark was still in custody, but Kevin's family had pulled some strings and paid for the damages. Combined with a sincere apology, he was released. At the fair, the university president looked at the long line snaking from one of the booths, a pleased expression on his face. Mr. Stevens, you've really outdone yourself. Getting Apex Dynamics to recruit here is quite an accomplishment. Mr. Stevens beamed, his face wrinkling with a wide smile. Not at all, sir. It's all thanks to your leadership and the excellent reputation of our university. That's what convinced a top-tier company like Apex to come here. My part was insignificant. Ha ha. The president laughed heartily, clapping him on the shoulder. Well done. You have a bright future. He paused, his expression turning serious. However, I did receive a complaint the other day. It alleged that you accepted favors to take sides in a student dispute. Is there any truth to that? Mr. President, I swear on my integrity, absolutely not. Mr. Stevens declared earnestly. It was just a conflict between two students. One of them felt I wasn't biased enough in his favor, lost face, and decided to file a complaint. You've probably heard of him. Leo Vance, the son from the old Vance Industries. He's used to getting his way. Why didn't coddle him like everyone else? He got upset. I'll be sure to have a stern talk with him. The president nodded. In the future, be more mindful of your methods. Before he could finish, a commotion erupted from the crowd. What do you mean I can't go in? I'm here for an interview. The president frowned. An aide immediately went to investigate and returned moments later. Sir, it's a student. He wants to interview. But the volunteer says his resume was already rejected. He's causing a scene. The president's frown deepened. He had just finished praising the school's excellent reputation. And now this. It was embarrassing. Let's go see what's happening. They pushed through the crowd and saw two people arguing at the entrance to the interview room. Kevin, we're doing this on purpose. My resume meets all the requirements. Why won't you let me in? Sam stood at the door, his chest heaving with anger. Kevin blocked the doorway, a smug look in his eyes. Who says your resume meets the requirements? You're not even close. Why should I let you in to waste their time? Don't think that just because we're roommates I'll give you special treatment, he said loudly. As a volunteer, my duty is to be fair and impartial. Letting you in would be unfair to all the other students. Hearing this, the president nodded in approval. This was the kind of upstanding student their university produced. Seeing Mr. Stevens and the president approaching, Kevin's eyes darted around, and he raised his voice even more. Now, get out of the way. This fair is only 2 days long. Every minute you waste is a minute someone else loses their chance to interview. Or maybe, you know you're not qualified, so you're deliberately blocking the door so no one else can get in. He then leaned in close to Sam's ear and whispered, still sucking up to that failure, Leo. Why don't you ask and help you now? Pulling back, he said loudly, I'm telling you right now, as long as I'm standing here, you are not getting in for an interview. And it's not just Apex. I've already spoken to the other companies. Any resume with your name on it goes straight into the trash. His voice dripped with malice. This is what you get for crossing us. Then, for the benefit of the crowd, he shouted, A bribe? Sam, I can't believe you're that kind of person. If you think I can be bought, you've seriously misjudged me. No matter what you say, you are not getting in today. The students waiting in line behind them started getting angry. Hey, move it. Should have studied harder instead of causing trouble now. Wait a second, someone said. I think I recognize him. Isn't he the top student in their department? What was his name? Sam Jones. You must be mistaken. If he was number one, how could his resume not be good enough? Fearing he would incite a mob, Sam had no choice but to step aside and let the others go in. Mr. Stevens walked up, and Kevin greeted him with a smile. Mr. Stevens, sorry for the disturbance. The advisor nodded approvingly. This is exactly right. We need to show everyone that our university is a place of merit, not connections. Then, he turned and barked at Sam. What do you think you're doing? I worked hard to bring this company here, and you're making a scene right in front of them. Have you no shame? Sam, I thought you were a decent kid. How could you do something like this? If you're not qualified, go work on improving yourself instead of making a fool of yourself. I want a 5,000-word apology on my desk by 8 p.m. tonight. But nothing. Didn't you hear the advisor? Get back and write your apology. Kevin snapped. Derek stepped out of the interview room, frowning. What's all the noise? The recruiters can hear everything. They're asking what's going on. Sam, Mr. Stevens worked hard to create this opportunity for us. Are you trying to ruin it for everyone? The president's brow was deeply furrowed, his eyes filled with disgust as he looked at Sam. Young man, he said in a cold voice, I suggest you stop this before you make things worse for yourself. Sam was shaking with rage, unable to even speak. Just then, a calm voice cut through the crowd from behind. An opportunity, Mr. Stevens created? Funny, I wasn't aware he was involved in organizing this recruitment event at all. I walked through the crowd and stood beside Sam. Glancing at the group of them, I let out a small chuckle. The way I heard it, Apex Dynamics is looking to expand into new markets and specifically requested to hold a recruitment event at our school. How did that suddenly become your achievement? Mr. Stevens glared at me, his voice dripping with contempt. The way you heard it, who did you hear it from? Your father, the one who gets on his knees to beg, or someone from your bankrupt family? Derek stepped forward. Mr. President, I can personally attest that Mr. Stevens worked tirelessly to secure this opportunity for us. He had to attend countless dinners and networking events. I drove him home myself several times, and it was painful to see how much he was sacrificing for our sake. Sir, this is the student who filed the malicious complaint against me. Mr. Stevens said, pointing at me. Clearly, he's still holding a grudge and trying to slander me. I feel I've failed as an educator to have a student like him. The president looked at me, his dislike now at its peak. Young man, making false accusations is a serious offense. It can lead to legal consequences. Kevin also chimed in. Leo, stop spreading lies. How dare you try to erase all of Mr. Stevens' hard work with a single sentence? You're disgusting. Mr. Stevens sacrificed months for our future employment, drinking so much he ended up in the hospital 4 or 5 times. If you can't be grateful, at least don't try to tear him down. Have you no humanity? So he got this deal by drinking, did he? Okay, then. Take a look. See if you recognize who he was drinking with. I smiled and stepped aside, revealing several middle-aged men standing behind me. Derek gave them a cursory glance and scoffed. Who are they, Mr.? Stevens was drinking with the director of human resources at Apex. You think you can scare me by hiring a few actors? As he finished speaking, a strange look crossed the faces of the men behind me. One of them, his face turning dark with anger, bellowed, Chadwick Lee, get your ass out here. A portly young man scrambled out of the interview room. The moment he saw the middle-aged man, his jaw dropped. Mr. Davison, what are you doing here? Derek froze, slowly turning his head. He asked Chadwick, his voice trembling slightly, Chad, what did you just call him? Chadwick completely ignored him, rushing forward to greet the director with a fawning smile. A small campus recruitment fair. Why did you come all the way out here yourself, sir? The director snorted. If I hadn't come, I would never have known I have a reputation for forcing people to drink with me. Chadwick's face went pale. He quickly tried to explain. Mr. Davison, this has nothing to do with me. I don't know anything. They're the ones making things up. Director, Kevin stammered, finally understanding. He's the director of Apex Dynamics. The president's face turned thunderous. He shot a furious glare at Mr. Stevens. He claimed he got this opportunity by drinking with the HR director, but now he didn't even recognize the man. If he couldn't figure out the truth now, he was a complete fool. Mr. Stevens, the president growled. What is the meaning of this? Director Davison looked coldly at Chadwick, his face grim. And this volunteer you picked. If I'm not mistaken, this young man, Sam Jones, is ranked first in his entire department, isn't he? If his resume isn't qualified, then who exactly are you trying to hire? Geniuses or idiots? Well, Chadwick was sweating profusely, unable to come up with an explanation. Director Davison snorted and threw down a printout of a bank transfer. So this is what the reputation of Apex Dynamics is worth to you. $20,000. Pack your things and get out. We have no place for backstabbing traitors in our company. After firing him, Director Davison turned to me, his expression instantly changing to a warm smile. Mr. Vance, is this handling of the situation satisfactory? Mr. Vance. The name dropped like a bomb. Chloe, Mr. Stevens, Derek, Kevin, and even Sam. All of them stared in stunned silence. Your family isn't bankrupt, Kevin stammered. I smiled and gave them a little wave. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm Leo Vance, the only son of the chairman of Apex Dynamics. And just a friendly reminder, Vance Industries did go bankrupt, that's true, but it was just a corporate restructuring. Apex Dynamics is the new Vance Industries. Clatter. The sound of a phone hitting the ground came from behind me. I turned to see Chloe, her face as white as a sheet. Chloe scrambled forward like a madwoman, grabbing my arm. You're lying, right? You're just mad because I dumped you, so you hired all these people to put on a show to make me regret it. That's it, isn't it? Leo, because you're so devoted to me, I'll give you a chance. Let's get back together. I shoved her away, scoffing. I thought you said I wasn't good enough for the campus queen. Chloe's face was a mask of adoration. That was all fake. It was a test. I got Derek to help me test you. And you passed. You proved your love for me, and I'll love you forever, too. My eyebrows shot up. Really? Seeing me soften, Chloe nodded eagerly. Of course. I love you so much. I would never betray you. But I was wrong to test you like that. I'll make it up to you tonight, I promise. Make it up to me. How, like this? I sneered and threw a stack of photos in her face. She picked them up, and her expression turned to one of pure horror. With trembling hands, she tore them into pieces. No, it's not like that. It's not. Let me explain. Explain what? How you were servicing all of Derek's friend by yourself? Chloe, you really went all out to please your new sugar daddy. But what a shame. He never saw you as a girlfriend, just a toy. All those photos and videos are plastered all over the dark web. I leaned in, my voice laced with venom. How you have a nerve to even say the words "get back together"? Just looking at your face makes me sick. You and your precious Derek can be tied together for eternity for all I care. Chloe stood frozen. A second later, she let out a scream and launched herself at Derek. Derek Reed, you bastard. I serve your friends and your sleazy clients to help you. I even let you film me because you promised you'd never share it. You posted it online. Smack. Derek slapped her so hard she fell to the ground. It was just for fun, he said with a cruel smirk. I paid you, didn't I? What did you want to be my wife? Don't you think for a second that a used-up tramp like you is worthy of that? Chloe tried to get up and attack him again, but Derek simply kicked her back down. Director Davison stepped forward and addressed the president. Sir, I assume you are the president of this university. To be frank, we chose to recruit here because we were impressed by your institution's educational philosophy and sterling reputation. But based on what we've seen today, you certainly have some colorful characters. The president's face was as dark as a thundercloud. He forced a smile. My deepest apologies for this embarrassing display. I will handle this immediately. He turned to his former star employee. Mr. Stevens, as an advisor, not only have you failed to set a positive example for your students, you have actively engaged in deception and abuse of your power. You are fired. Furthermore, the university will be pursuing legal action against you for the damage you have caused to our reputation. As for you three, The president said, his eyes filled with contempt as he looked at Derek, Kevin, and Chloe. Instead of focusing on your studies, you resort to these despicable tactics, abusing the smallest amount of power to bully your classmates. Your behavior is vile. You will receive a major demerit and be placed on academic probation. And you too, he said, pointing at Chloe and Derek, for your disgusting and sordid behavior, which has severely damaged this university's reputation. You are expelled. Kevin went pale. A demerit and probation would be on his permanent record. Sam, please, say something. I didn't mean it. Sam shook his hand off, his voice cold. Didn't mean it? Who was it just whispering in my ear that as long as you were here, I'd never get an interview? Who said you told all the other volunteers to throw my resume in the trash without even looking at it? Is that true? The president asked, his face growing even darker. You have quite the ego, more than I do as president. Since you're so powerful, this university is clearly too small to contain you. You're expelled too. Kevin's legs gave out, and he crumpled to the floor. All his years of hard work gone in an instant. Derek just sneered, completely unfazed. Whatever. So what if I don't have a degree? In the end, you'll all be working for people like me. Mr. President, how much do you make a year? I bet it's less than what one of my family's houses is worth. Kevin suddenly had a realization and scrambled to grab Derek's leg. Derek, you can't abandon me. Derek bent down and patted his cheek. Don't worry. As long as you're a good little dog, I'll make sure you don't starve. He stood up and looked at me triumphantly. So you're the young master of Apex Dynamics. So what? My family built its business on merit. We can succeed anywhere. Oh, and by the way, didn't my family just sign a 20-year contract with your company? That means for the next 20 years, your family will be sending money our way. He laughed. Or, if you really don't like me, you could always have your daddy break the contract. It's only a $10 million penalty. If you insist on gifting me that money, I won't object. Ha ha ha. I just smiled back at him. Why don't you give your parents a call first? See how things are going. Before Derek could even pull out his phone, it rang. He looked at the screen, and his face instantly paled. Leo, what did you do? Why are my parents fleeing the country? I raised an eyebrow. Fleeing the country? TSK, TSK. They abandoned their own son. That takes guts. I didn't do much, I said. Actually, I should be thanking you. If I hadn't witnessed your truly garbage personality, it never would have occurred to me to run a full audit on your family's products. And what a surprise. Turns out your product quality is far below standard. You've been passing inspections by bribing officials. So, thanks to you, my father was able to root out several corrupt employees. They've already been handed over to the authorities. I imagine your family has also received the lawsuit from Apex by now. Congratulations. You've become the very thing you despise most, a broke nobody. I paused. No, that's not right. You're worse than broke. You're a negative heir. Derek's smug confidence completely shattered. He collapsed to the floor and began to sob. I turned to the security guards behind me. Take him to one of our factories. Put him on the assembly line. He's not to leave until he's paid back every last cent of the damages. 2 guards stepped forward, grabbed him, and dragged him away. I pointed to Sam and said to Director Davison, "This is my friend. His character and abilities are top-notch." The director nodded eagerly and approached Sam with a smile. "Young man, would you be interested in joining our team?" Sam was stunned for a moment before nodding vigorously. "Yes, absolutely." The director took the resume from his hand and passed it to an aide. "Excellent. We'll send you an offer letter this afternoon. You can start your internship whenever you're ready." Chloe crawled over on her hands and knees, grabbing my pant leg and begging, "Leo, please just give me one more chance. I'll be your mistress, anything you want. Just let me stay by your side." I kicked her away in disgust. "Get lost. Someone like you. Just looking at you makes me sick." Derek's parents may have fled the country, but unfortunately for them, my family has international business partners too. In less than 6 months, they were apprehended and extradited. The assets they tried to hide were seized to compensate Apex Dynamics, though they were still short a few million. They tried to start over, but with their reputation ruined, no one would lend them a dime. In the end, they had to take menial jobs to pay off the rest of their debt. As for Chloe, after being expelled, she had no degree and struggled to find work. Eventually, she ended up delivering for DoorDash. Sam, on the other hand, thrive at Apex. He worked tirelessly, and everyone in his department respected him. A year later, his internship ended, and he was offered a full-time position. That night, we went to a karaoke bar to celebrate. As we were leaving late, a woman in heavy makeup and a tight dress stepped in front of us. "Hey there, handsome," she purred. "Looking for a good time?" Our eyes met, and for a second we all froze. It was Chloe. The next moment, she covered her face and ran, stumbling away so fast she didn't even notice when one of her high heels fell off. Sam sighed. "I can't believe the campus queen ended up like this." I just shrugged. She made her choice. Who else is there to blame?